Good morning and welcome to today's lesson. Our lesson today is scholars will understand the terminologies needed to analyze expressions and equations. So you're going to understand terminology. So we're looking at vocabulary here. Normally you would be doing your guided notes. This lesson does not have guided notes. You do have a Google slide presentation that you're going to have to do that I will be discussing at the end of this. So expressions versus equations versus inequalities. So expressions are simply numbers and symbols and operators, such as plus and times, that are grouped together that show the value of something. So expressions, once again, numbers, symbols, and operators. Those are things that tell us to do operations that are grouped together that show the value of something. Equation. An equation says that two things are equal. It will have an equal sign, like this. 7 plus 2 equals 10 minus 1. That equation says that what's on the left, 7 plus 2, is equal to what's on the right. So an equation is like a statement. This equals that. An inequality. An inequality compares two values, showing if one is less than, greater than, or simply not equal to another value. So just real quick, we're used to seeing the greater than and less than symbols. We have another symbol called not equal to. So the next question says, how are these different? Okay, so how are these different from each other? We're going to be focusing on expressions. All of these are made up of some of these other vocabulary we're going to use, but we want to focus on expressions first. We will be going into equations and inequalities as we continue on with this unit. So we have various different parts of expressions. A constant. Constants are numbers and symbols that always have the same value. For example, 2 is a constant. Pi is a constant. We have a number. We have a symbol. But they always have the same value. It doesn't change. That's what a constant is. Variable is a symbol whose value can change or is unknown. So, typically we use things like X or Y. It just means something that can change or is unknown. It varies. Okay? Next we have a coefficient. A coefficient is a factor multiplied with an expression or a variable. So we might see 2x. In that case, 2 would be the coefficient. I might see 3x plus 5. In that case, 3 would be the coefficient. It is something that multiplies. It is a factor. They do sometimes look like they are constants. So you need to make sure that you know the difference between a coefficient and a constant. Next, we have terms. Terms are a part of an expression or an equation separated from another term by a plus sign, minus sign, equal sign, or an inequality. So, for example, the expression 3x plus 5 minus 8y has 3 separate terms. It's got the term 3x, it has the term 5, and it has the term 8y. If we added equals 12, that would be another different term. Next, we have exponents. Exponent is a raised number that indicates how many times a number is multiplied by itself. So, 5 to the third power is 5 times 5 times 5. And that's our exponent. Those are equivalent. Okay, real quick, we also have a radical. It is a square root, cube root, etc. This is the symbol. So, you guys know when you see that symbol, we're taking a root, and that's called a radical. We also have something called a radicand. We're talking about what's inside here. This is our radicand. The value inside the radical symbol that you want to take the root of. Remember, if we have a 3 here, that index value, that tells us we're taking a cubed root. Finally, there's something called like terms. I will get into these more, but they are separate terms in an expression or an equation that can be combined. So, for instance, if I had 3x plus 8 minus 2x plus 3y, I have the like terms 3x and minus 2x, and they can be combined to give me x plus 8 plus 3y. Finally, a factor. A factor is simply a number we can multiply together to get another number. We talk about factors. Okay? Numbers we multiply together to get another number. Sometimes those numbers can be variables. 3x, they are both factors. Coefficients, factors. So, your job today is you're going to create a Frayer model. I've shared with you a Google slide presentation where I have filled this part in for you guys. Oops, sorry, I filled the words in for you. You need to fill in the definition, some facts or characteristics about it, examples and non-examples for what you're looking at. I have put all the words on this video into it so you can get your definitions from there, and then you're going to need to fill in the rest of this. That is your classwork for this. If you have any questions, let me know. I will talk to you all later.